When I had that word from God to make that move, to make the steps into it, I questioned it in every single aspect. Sure, after God gave me that word to come out here, God started providing. In so many ways, I did not want to have to fight that battle because it came out verbally through my daughter.
Yeah.
Verbally through her. She walked through a period where I had to take my hands off. And I think that that's when God like really took the wheel. Like coming here, it's like, Lord, you take full reign. And I'm completely aware of it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Winning Conversations. I am here with Andy. Hello, how are you?
Hi, stranger.
I know. We haven't been doing this together.
I know. I almost forgot what you looked like. I'm not even going to lie.
That's a good thing. Can be. And we are with Sarah Ronquillo. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi. Thank you. I'm great.
Now, I feel like I'm a minority here because y'all are both from California. And
the good kind?
Yeah, and I'm the only true Texan sitting here at this table. I don't judge you. I'm not going to hold it against you, okay?
Weird. We feel it.
But
we do.
Y'all are good. Y'all are good. Y'all are the good ones.
Well, so you're a transplant the way we are a transplant, I think, because you just moved here, right?
Right. Yeah, we moved here in 2022.
And I think we met you. I think we had a little house Christmas party, and that's when I first met you and your daughter, Michaela. That's how we got to know you guys.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like it's been longer. I feel like you've been here forever.
It does seem that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to me too, honestly.
You fit right in.
But yeah, and you do, because whenever you've come here, like you've gotten so involved too.
Yeah, yeah, right away. Jump in.
You too. Y'all got like crazy involved, and so it just feels you do care.
Yeah.
You do care. Well,
hands and feet.
Church body is everything.
What brought you here from California?
So I came here 2022, a single woman with me, my grandmother, my daughter. So that was
that. I mean, to just up and move somewhere that you have no connection to is like you have to have a lot of faith in God to be able to do that. Just pick up you and your daughter too.
Yeah.
What about Texas made you want to move here?
Well, initially it was like a plant, you know, so like God planted that on my heart to come out here during a Southwest Believers Convention. So I was basically coming out here with my mom, my stepdad, my little sister. We would journey out to Texas.
Like every year?
Every year. I just started, though. I believe it was maybe like four years prior to me coming out here, moving out here. So yeah.
So you started like hearing that you were supposed to do it, and then you needed to like figure some things out before you...
Well, figure quite a bit out, you know, because there was a lot that kind of ties me to California. Number one, we've never been out of California. Like California, homegrown, like for generations.
Is that a thing?
Very much so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. People don't tend to move. No. You know?
I mean, that's kind of the same as Texas. I feel like once you're here, it's hard to go somewhere else.
It just depends on your community, like every community.
Yeah.
And in California, when it gets generational, they're all within, and it's not like Texas where Texas is so big.
Yeah.
Like, California isn't as big as people, it is big long-wise, but like you stay in the pockets of the community, the counties where you're at. So you can go and visit your entire family in a day.
I mean, what was that community like for you there?
So the community itself, I mean, we lived there, like I said, all of our lives, generations prior to, like, that's where we landed. So it was like we had like a multi-generational family within a household, Mexican-American families, you know how we do. So that was kind of like that was all we knew.
And you had a church there?
So we grew up in church so where I'm located in California, it's called Riverside, California. So like...
Did you get excited?
I know all about it.
So yeah, we're like...
Well, I don't. I want to hear.
So we're like all together with like a certain area, Ontario, Chino, just this little area, a little gap of Cali. Right. Yeah. Best Mexican food though, by the way. I mean,
sorry,
you
Texas.
can't. Yeah.
We'll pause.
Listen, we won't get started. We're not going to get started yet. Everyone was like, yeah, we're shutting this down. Right. We're not going to get started on that, okay? Yeah. We will be here forever.
Yeah. So from that area, our church was local to that area as well. And that was like our small church. So my mom, she went to that church since she was about 18, shortly before I was born. She converted to Christianity from she was a Catholic prior to.
You grew up in a Christian home. Right. Your mom got saved, first generation at 18, but you weren't consistently in the church growing up. So I call them my lost years because that's what they were to me. I said that on the podcast before.
I've heard that.
They were my lost years. I want to hear about yours.
Yeah. So I grew up in church. My mom got saved and, that was our life. We were kind of, thrown into it and that's kind of all we knew. Now the church that we had gone to was a rehabilitation type church, so we've seen a lot, we've seen a lot in that time frame. It was like prison ministry, all of that. So when I say that,
that's interesting to see and be around
as a kid too, so a lot of interesting people, but again, that kind of ties into, our surrounding and our demographic.
Right.
And, that was a lot of what we kind of knew, when my mom was pulled from, well, not necessarily pulled, but when she jumped into Christianity, she stepped away as well from, that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that was something fairly similar in regards to my walk. And that ties into it in so many ways. So my mom is not with my father. So she, my father was basically in prison all of my life.
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up without, that head, in our household. So it was a single family, single, multi-generational, but single mother, you know. So in a lot of ways, for whatever reason, I mirrored that. So in my relationship, walking into that, that was something that, I kind of
like mimicked what you saw.
Yeah.
So when you what made you stop consistently going to church? Was it just getting caught up in the lifestyle?
More so for me, what stopped me from going to church was, the structure of my home. I really did not want to continue it. I just wanted to rebel against it.
Yeah. That's real. That is honest. I get that.
Yeah. So, and I did.
Yeah.
I did in so many ways. And, kind of got me into the situation where I'm a single mom, and walking that journey on my own, in my own ways, so yeah, that was the start to basically a rough start to my life and my daughter's life, because she saw a little bit of that.
Is that what made you get back into church? Because again, I get it. You step away and things happen.
Yeah.
Addie happened. Michaela happened. These things happen, which are great. But those are great things that happen. But while you're in the and I want to be careful how I say this, because I know it's kind of tricky, but you're not in church. You're rebelling from God, actively rebelling from God. You're in a situation, and then you have a child, which is a gift from God.
Absolutely.
And somebody else said this, and someone said this, hold on.
I'm getting the death look on that.
So you know.
I'm aware.
I don't know why I aggressively look at you. It's because you're the man at the table. You're the man at the table.
My wife was a single mother.
I know. Your wife was a single mother. And I have so much respect for single moms because it is such a hard thing. But my point is you're rebelling from God, actively rebelling, and something amazing like having a daughter or a son, whatever it is, happens. And for me, that was like my motivation that, okay, I want to be the best person I can be now. Right. Let me get back into church. Was that the same for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would say maybe fairly shortly after she was born, I started the journey. But for me, it was like I'm going to take it real slow.
Yes.
Type of journey. So, she saw
like this is like getting back into dating or something. Right. Like I'm going to just slowly no, this is church, but this is what you do. Like this is God, but you're slowly like entering back in. I
think it's all of us. We have that moment for any of us who've walked away and come back. You have that moment of where you're not getting back into church. You're truly what you're doing is getting back into a relationship.
Yeah.
Like you're learning
that's good.
I mean, you're learning how to trust.
There's a reason why you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're balancing. It's like, it's not church. Yeah. Church is 4 walls unless his presence is there.
Yes.
What you're learning is, can I trust you again?
Yeah.
Is there do I really, really, really believe who you are?
Yeah.
And that your plan for my life is better than clearly what I'm doing for myself.
Clearly.
Me at the wheel, train wreck.
Right.
At some point in time, something's got to give. And either I believe you and I trust you and you are who you say you are and I am who you say that I am.
Yeah.
Or this is not going to, you're going to go back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
And that's that decision all of us have to make who've gone prodigal.
Yes.
Like we know the truth.
Yeah, I love how you say it, though.
We know the truth because we were raised in the truth. But at some point in time, we just stopped believing the truth.
Yeah.
So I love that you chose to come back to the truth. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus, because I needed that. So yeah.
I mean, what prompted you to have to get out of Riverside?
So there was a lot in that sense where, my daughter and myself had to kind of exit. My family was heavily involved in in drugs, in gangs. My daughter.
So that's what you mean.
There's a lot of good things in Riverside too.
Yeah.
Riverside is Riverside.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a lot that kind of hovered over us in a sense, and I didn't really see it until I came here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, there's
that's
others.
Your environment. That's what you know.
Yeah. And you don't know to get out of it either, to be honest, when you're in the midst of it. You don't know that there is an actual other alternative life, Of course, me and our family, my mom, my brother, we were raised as Christians, so we understood that, but seeing it was different.
Yeah. And how old was Michaela?
So Michaela was 6 years old when we started the process.
Did she understand that you were leaving home and moving to a different state? Or was she just down to just do whatever?
Yeah, she was down to go wherever.
Really?
Yeah. Well, until we got here. It was like
culture shock or something.
I don't even. Yeah.
Well, it's not just a culture shock; it's a geography shock.
Yeah.
People forget that's one of the biggest shocks for people moving here is California is very mountainous. And Texas is very flat. A lot of water, no water. So there is a lot of geographical shock.
I guess that's true.
If you're a kid, you're like, oh, what happened to the hills?
Yeah.
And so we've experienced that.
Yeah.
But also, your daughter's an adventurer.
Yeah, she is. She totally is.
We got the pleasure of teaching her when she came here in the youth, and she's just an absolute awesome young child who's just, and that's her spirit. It's just adventure.
Yeah.
And so coming here, you're like, oh, I could see that would be more difficult than not.
Yeah. She was excited. She loves the church, know, and she grows so much with it, So that's been fun.
What we kind of noticed when we got here is that had it not really been for Heritage of Faith and the community of Heritage of Faith, I don't think our transition would have been successful.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
for sure.
like, because you really do need, when you get here, because you are giving it, there's a lot of, people don't realize that when you're leaving California, there's a lot of California still in us.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way, bad way, I guess. And having a really strong faith community around you, when you land somewhere that love you, that support you, that are there for you.
Like softens the blow of doing something
But it makes you love this place.
Yeah.
You went from like, okay, I'm leaving something to no, I'm gaining something.
Yeah.
I mean, what did that do for you? Like,
so, I mean, the community is really what brought it in, you know, like it's hard to even explain, but it's heritage of faith, you know, like that's just how we do, you know, and that's what I'm learning.
Was there like a pullback to stay where you were in California, or did you just, jump right in? Because we hear these stories. I feel like this is not the first conversation of somebody who's like picked up everything. I always think of Danny's his story, Danny's story about and then just coming here and just moving the whole family. I'm like, to me, God's never told us to move or anything. If he did, then I could speak on it a little more, but that's just like such an act of faith, and like you have like trusting God. Is there a pullback to stay where you are?
So for me, not so much.
Really?
No, not at all. So coming out here, I think there was so much opposition that I knew it was the enemy. Like there was so much opposition. There was physical opposition. There was spiritual opposition. Like it was very emotional. And then after after coming out here, my daughter, of course, she was all for it. And then we went into coming out here and, I felt it again. It was really hard for her transition to get out here and to understand that like reality of it, we were breaking a lot of ties, a lot of ties that we had to break. So for me, no, I do miss it, but.
Yeah. There's familiarity. You're like comfort zone, there's a comfort zone, and you, like Texas is completely different. But I think we've had conversations before. I think like there is parts that I miss, and there's parts that I have I could not be happier here. Like I'm so thankful that the God brought us here.
Well, it's also, what you're coming out of. So if you're coming out of something where you're feeling like a pull from the enemy, or know that it's a bad environment, then you're going to find comfort where you're going. Like does that make sense? Like
for sure. We didn't have that. Like we didn't have the same thing she was going through. Like I don't, that would be so much
is there, do you want to touch on that? Is that something like you want to dive into about what you came out of? I don't know if it would help somebody or encourage somebody else.
Yeah. So basically, we weren't able to come out here. When I had that word from God to make that move, to make the steps into it, I questioned it in every single aspect. Like, are you sure?
Are you really, really sure?
It's a long move.
I'm laying fleeces out today.
Nobody out there, Lord.
There's there's no one out there.
I don't have any family,
When you're also doing like big moves like this, it's not like, you are a single mom,
right?
And you're doing this on your own. And that's something I can relate to. Yeah. I was a single mom for 10 years. I know you weren't there.
Looking at me, I'm like, I was not a part of that.
You were not a part of that.
I don't know.
It was about 10 years.
Yeah.
That I was a single mom. So I know how hard it can be to make decisions for you and your child without the help of like a spouse or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
That's the other bigger part, which is so impressive in my mind of being obedient, is because that family structure, especially in the environment, is so integral to help raising that daughter. It's not just a solo. Like my wife was a single mother.
Yes.
And her grandfather and the family around her helped raise that son.
Yes. Yeah. And so when you're doing something like that as a single mom, you also have like this pressure of, am I doing the right thing for my child?
For
like,
sure.
Are you like, you're having to like co-parent with God. Like, you know what I mean? That is it. You're having to co-parent with the Lord, being like, okay, you're telling me to do this. Are we sure we can handle this? Because it involves a child. So you're making these decisions, not just for yourself, but for
Right.
Michaela too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, what is that like, being a single mom and having to do that, make big decisions, move here from another state?
Yeah.
Like,
well, just like you said, it's a co-parent.
Yeah.
Like, the Holy Spirit is my co-parent, you know? He's walked me through things that I never even understood or wanted, just to be honest, you know, or wanted to walk through.
can you give us some examples?
So coming out here, I mean, that's one of the hugest things. You know, I had to talk to him. You know, I had to garner that relationship with him in order to trust him in it. But once I heard that, it was like game on. You know, let's go.
But you also had to do things that involved like Michaela's dad and things like that. And that can also be challenging because, again, I've been there, and those intense like court settings and those intense, it could discourage you to the point of like not being able to trust God and not being able to, you know what I mean? I know you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you work through that?
So with that, I was able to go through the court system. After God gave me that word to come out here, I started making the strides in it. In a nutshell, stuff started flowing. God started providing. I had never had friends in the court system, you know, like that's not my realm, you know. Random people would come up basically, and they helped me through that entire process, writing out court paperwork, leading me to lawyers that I needed to.
Because it's not as simple as just like picking up and leaving, like especially when you have a child with somebody else. Like no matter who that person is, whether they're good, bad, it doesn't matter. Like that process is hard anyways. Yeah,
it was a 4 to 5 year journey.
That is rough. Yeah, that is rough.
Yeah, and it was not for the weak.
Yeah,
you know, there was a lot of on that other end. There was a lot of manipulation. There was a lot of twisting of words. There was a lot of, you know, deceit.
Yeah, which is all characteristics of the devil, of the enemy.
The enemy, yeah.
Like, let's call it what it is, right? Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was so hard because it came for not just me. It was like, if it came for just me, I'd be like, all right, whatever, you know, like I know I can fight this, but it came from my daughter.
Yes. And that's where you get the mom in you becomes like, feral.
Absolutely.
I am not.
Absolutely. Yes. But for me, since I am such a non-confrontational type. You know?
I love that for her.
I'm a non-confrontational type.
Like?
I know.
So I, in so many ways, I did not want to have to fight that battle because it came out verbally through my daughter.
Yeah.
Verbally through her. She walked through a period where I had to take my hands off. And I think that's when God like really took the wheel, because when you see it coming out in a 5-6 year old little girl, it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. And then at the same time, you don't know if what you're doing, you question it, you know, is it right?
Is this just me? Is this something I'm actually hearing from God? Because you can't see the other side of it. Yeah. Like whenever you're going through these things, and I'm speaking from experience, when you're in that, deep in it, dealing with, you know, another parent, or you're dealing with like, should I do this? Should I not? Am I making the right decision? I feel like, you know, this might just be me. You can't see the other side of it. And I love and I've referenced this, like, I don't even know how many times since Preston spoke at the church on Sunday morning. Like you always think the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass is green where you're watering it. Yep. Like, I love that so much, because you can't see the other side of your circumstances whenever you're in something that deep.
True.
And so it's hard to you have to take your hands off of it and just be like, okay, because I can't do this within myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a moment where it was like in my face, and I knew that, it's not flesh, it's not flesh. We're not warring against flesh. These are the true powers of the enemy coming against, me, myself, my family, and, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, I had things coming at me from every angle.
Yeah.
When it came down to that.
Being the family that you grew up in, that kind of community, what was their opinion when you were saying, hey, I want to take my daughter and move to Texas, where none of you are?
Yeah.
Like that's a wild statement.
Yeah.
In that kind of a community, being raised that way, you just don't.
Right.
You just don't do that.
Yeah.
It is a serious taboo to say, I'm just going to leave the entire family.
Yeah. It was that. I mean, to be honest with you, everyone seemed very supportive.
Yeah, but that's not crazy. Even just your family, but like just the community that you're around too.
Yeah, no, I did not receive any opposition on my family's end. My family's end, if anything, they're probably going to be behind me, and I'm calling that in faith.
We received the form, all right? We'll stand on it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Was your church community, how are they feeling about this?
So my church community, they were very supportive.
Good.
They actually helped me in so many different ways. Probably beyond what they even knew.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this, I just kept.
Sure.
I shared what I needed to share. Mm-hmm. And thankfully I was with a, faith-based community, which was funny how that ended up as well, because it wasn't really intentional. It wasn't an intentional drop into church and, hey, I'm going to stay here. But that's how it ended up. And that's where God placed me for a reason. And it was everything. It's what helped catapult myself.
So you're here. Mm-hmm. You live here. This is your home now.
Yeah.
This is Michaela's home now.
Yeah.
What, what are some things that you hope for here in Texas, or how are you building your life here with your daughter, still as a single mom, but growing with her, with your daughter, all of those things? Yeah.
So we've grown so much here. Like the teachings that we get here from Pastor Justin have really shaped us. Mm-hmm. My mom used to always tell me, where your church goes, you go. And I never really understood that until, the past maybe 4 years, mm-hmm. Here at the church that I was prior to, mm-hmm. Coming out here. 'Cause it really did shape where I'm going and where I'm headed, and where me and, my daughter are headed. We have grown so much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird because we feel the same way. There's so much. We love the community that we were at, mm-hmm. but obviously there's levels. There's next, mm-hmm. and there's more, and there's more. What the Lord wants to, that relationship the Lord wants to have with you. Yeah. And this community is second to none. I'm always so thankful.
Wow. Agree.
I really do. We get blessed enough to be in other areas and experience other areas, and it's not knocking anything.
Right.
But man, when you're where you're supposed to be, mm-hmm. it's just amazing.
Well, that brings up something interesting that I just thought of. So you're coming out of difficult things, an environment that involves, gangs and all of whatever comes with that.
Yeah.
You're coming from a place where you have strife with, your daughter's father. You're coming out of this place. Has anything followed you here, being here? Or can you say that it's just, you're at a different level? Or, I don't want to say that people it's not running away from your problems, but that stuff is still there. Does mm-hmm. any of that touch you now? Or does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. But navigating through it is different. Yeah. I feel like the tools are here, I got them,
how do you navigate that? And what is something you can, what's some advice that you can share about that? Yeah.
So sharing in regards to it, touching back on, our growth here. Mm-hmm. I've seen physical, spiritual growths in mine and Michaela's life, Michaela herself, came to me recently, and she was like, this is, I'm happy here, Mom. I understand, why we made this move. Yeah. And that was really like something that I needed to hear for myself, Here,
like, are you still struggling through like what you left?
Not necessarily struggling through what I left. But in regards to like things following me here, I feel like there is a time frame where, actually now I would say I'm in a time frame of like refining and understanding my position here. Coming out here, I initially was thinking, this is this is where I need to be. This is like the promised land, like, let's go. But coming out here, I had to realize that there's a reason, people here in Texas, like, they need something that I can give.
Yeah.
What that is exactly.
Tell us, what is it? You don't know.
It's up to him.
I'm trying to figure it out.
You'll be the second to know. You'll be the second person to know.
Yes, you're welcome. Exclusive.
Thank you so muct.
But I as someone who's kind of walked that walk too, of coming out here and landing here, I think one of the big things that this church provides is that identity in Christ.
Yeah.
It's that word of who you are in Christ. And once you know that, then you're ready to love like Christ.
Yeah.
And be that love to other people. And so it becomes a less about me, which it shouldn't be. Like, we just recently heard the word, like, if you want breakthrough, be breakthrough for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one of those things that this place gives you the opportunity to be.
Yeah.
Is you get to know who you are. And through the word, through the scriptures, and like a true identity, then lets you walk out who you are.
Yeah.
Beautifully to the environment around you, the community around you.
Yep.
And that's the most fun thing about being in this environment that's been, is that, oh wow, that's the identity that I wasn't really having before.
Exactly. Yeah, you nailed it on the head right there, because yes, that's exactly how I feel. Walking the journey that I, walked, it was easy for me to fall into like an identity like issue, like self-worth issue, because I don't know, I guess maybe in a way things were just surrounding me and it was kind of like all about me, learning that identity issue is an issue that you hold negatively towards Christ, like your worth is in him, and how your viewship of yourself is how you're viewing, your identity as a child of
Christ. Without even realizing that you're doing that.
It's wild.
And that's something that we pass on to our kids. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
And we have to be careful of how we talk about ourselves, how we, portray ourselves, because it passes on to our kids. And I know this season, like, preteen girls are the most impressionable.
Right.
And so I feel like prompted as a mom to be more confident in who I am and know, okay, this is what God says about me. And we slip up and we fall back to those old things that, we thought about ourselves. Like when you were in the thick of dealing with the stuff that you were dealing with, you start thinking of yourself one way and you have to learn how to like strike that down.
Yeah. What are the words that you're telling yourself?
Exactly. And it could be like little things too. Like, I hate my hair today.
Yeah.
Well, then we like get onto our daughters for like complaining about their hair.
Right.
Does that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's not just parents, but I feel like that's
so many of us.
That's a big thing on how we talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's
and we were talking about that earlier too.
Were.
And I'm just like getting that like revelation of like,
it's the bigger picture of in that moment, your focus is on you. When your moment should be, how can I live like Christ in that moment to people who are in the moment?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like when we have that mentality of like, me, like, and I'm not calling you that, so please
no.
But like, if you're going through your day going, man, my hair looks bad, and thank the Lord, he rid me of that problem. Right? He graced me.
I was going to make a joke and then I
graced me with the freedom.
Yeah.
The freedom, I tell you, and I'm going to stand on that, of not worrying about my hair.
Yes.
Ever.
Sure. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Yes. But you know, if you're walking through your day focusing on like how it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, my day is busy, or whatever it is. And we're so doing that so often. What we're not doing is being in the love of Christ to somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we're not doing is saying, this isn't about me today. It's about how can he love through me so I can be Christ to you today.
Yeah.
How can I be Christ to you today?
And that's what you have to offer.
Yeah.
Like, that's it right there.
Filling our cup.
And you find that here. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, like, you find that here. I've found that.
Yeah.
You found that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You grew up in this, so you might not.
I found it.
You found it.
I'm a part.
That's what I know, and I stand on that all the time.
Yes.
It's like the teaching that we get here. If
Yeah.
you're listening, and if you're like what he's saying, you find that.
Yeah, you do.
And every message is laced with that. Like, how are you loving someone else? How are you the breakthrough for someone
But
else?
you do that.
Yeah.
You do that, but it's also
Yes.
recognizing what it is that you're doing and not slipping back to your old thoughts or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you serve in this church.
Yeah.
You are showing the love of God every Sunday that you're here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you are already in those positions. You don't
Yeah.
need to, like, be looking for them as much because you're already in them. But what
Yeah.
are you doing in the position
There's
you're
no
in?
striving for that. It's just like when you get squeezed, Jesus comes out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's no striving. Like, he gets to live in me and love through me. So I
Yeah.
guess just to be that.
Yeah.
That's your natural heart posture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
When it's not on you, that's the natural heart posture.
Right.
And that's such an amazing place to be in.
It is.
Because you get to love.
It is.
And you get to like just be love.
Yeah.
And like show people what Christ looks like, actually looks
Yeah.
like. Because he gets to
Right.
live in you. The fullness of him is in you. He's
Yeah.
in you.
Go
And
off.
It's so fun.
And then seeing the redemption in it, though,
Oh,
you
yes.
know,
Yes.
of what you've been through.
Yes.
All the walls that you've had up, all of the
Yes.
barriers, the boundaries, all of that.
Yeah.
Seeing that lifted. And it's just kind of like an automatic thing.
Yeah.
Let's walk in love.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's so
comes
fun.
with it.
It's hard. It is really hard to do. I ain't even gonna lie. It's hard.
Yeah, I get it.
Because those walls are comfortable. That is your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
putting those walls up, especially when you've been hurt by
Yeah.
people that you trusted or you've been, those walls are hard
Right.
to break.
Yeah, they are.
Because they become comfortable. This is my little box and I'm going to stay in this box.
Yeah.
Because this is what I know.
Yeah.
It is hard to break them down.
But learning how to, that's just been a theme, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Move from
just-
California to Texas.
That's how you.
Thrown into the fire
Right.
of that exact reality.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
change your entire life
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
Don't know anybody, go to a new place.
Yeah.
That is serious training ground for getting
Yeah.
comfortable with being
Absolutely.
uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's fun too.
It's amazing.
It's fun.
How much do you trust the Lord now more than you were in California?
Oh my gosh. I can't even count the ways,
Yeah,
you
your
know?
relationship with him is so much deeper now, richer now, because you need him so much more now than you
Yeah.
ever did before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you get that iron sharpens iron. Like, man, I really trust and believe. It's so
And it's
fun.
not so much here, like there, I felt like I was kind of like on autopilot, like just trusting him, which is great. But like coming here, it's like, Lord, you take full reign.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
completely aware of it, you know?
Do you think that's a mindset that you have because you're a single mom? And it makes it more of like the autopilot thing is kind of what I'm picking up on, because I've felt the same way. Like you are used to like doing everything yourself and like being in control all the time.
Yeah.
And having to like pass the reins even to God is like, that takes a lot of strength in itself to do.
Yeah. And being aware that you're actually passing
Passing
the
it.
reins.
Yeah.
It's one thing when we're just in the motion of,
Yes.
you know, just like we were talking earlier about Christianese, you know, just speaking those words that you know and that are
But
familiar.
is it just like empty words
They
at this
are.
point because you're just speaking it because
Right.
oh yes, like love everyone, like this and that. But like actually getting it in and like understanding
Yeah.
the why behind it and all of that.
Yeah, because the fruit will start to grow from what you're,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
like you won't see the fruit if you're continuing to walk on just,
Empty.
autopilot.
Yeah.
And just the word.
It's religion versus relationship.
Yeah.
When you believe who he says you are and just stand on that.
Yeah.
You're unshakable.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
unshakable.
That right there.
You don't have to think about, is that a true statement? Or like, where is it? You're just like, it is. By faith.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
You learn that
simple.
though, at least for me, from testing, testing his word,
Like how?
Well, the move, like coming out here was a huge test.
I didn't know if there was something else that she was thinking of. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah. I mean, I can honestly go down the line of ways that, I've said this before. I'm like a poster child of, his goodness and mercy will follow me all of the days of my life, because they have, have fruits to bear. And
you have the resume, the receipts.
Right.
It's so great.
I just think that that's a very important part of your story, because I think that's something that, people need to hear. People need to hear that, when we talk about like growing up in the church, people automatically assume, oh, your life has been perfect. Oh, well, all you did was move from California. But no, there was real things that happened to you, real things that affected you, and doing that all while protecting and teaching and being a mom. Like it's more than just picking up and moving somewhere and having to trust God. It's like, no, I'm having to co-parent with God. I'm having to, do all these things. It's a very important thing. So this season, we kind of have it twisted, we kind of changed how we're wording it, is not how are you a winner, but how are you a winner daily? Because it's about the everyday things that we do to become winners in life. Yeah. So our final question to you is, how are you winning in life every day?
Yeah, so it's definitely an everyday thing. So I love the fact that you guys twisted it a little bit for me, But I think a lot of it is in your day-to-day, how you're talking to yourself, what you're filling yourself up with.
That's good.
Is your oil lamps full?
We have never heard that.
That's the first time.
Yeah.
I would love this question.
Yeah. Holding fast to like the view of yourself, going back into, our viewship of ourself is rooted in Christ. How you're speaking to yourself. Is it kind?
That's so good.
Is it nice? Because that's gonna bleed out to everybody.
That's true. That is true.
It's almost like
I needed to hear that today too.
Hey.
I'm not always kind to myself.
Yeah.
And it does bleed out. It does.
Yeah.
More than you know.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a way to win in life.
It's amazing. No, I love that. It is so important too. Like self-talk, that self-speech. You are the words that you speak over your life.
Yeah.
It's so important that you're speaking his words, not just any words, his words.
Yes.
His truth. That's so crucial to us.
Yes.
In our identity. That's awesome.
Good job.
Hey.
I hope you had fun.
I really did. It was awesome.
It goes by fast.
I know this. I
wish we could. I always wish we could just talk for 3 hours, but
I just love people that move from other places like I did, that come here and love it for the same reasons that I love it. So it's so fun to see.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Y'all are pretty
We're
cool.
pretty great.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think I'll stay.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. We're here.
And if you're thinking about joining or thinking about coming and you're from somewhere, no, I'm just kidding. But I
should though.
You should. No, you should. You should.
Yeah,
but I am really glad that you, not unless God tells you, but I'm glad that you listen to the call of God, and you and Michaela are only going to thrive by being here and growing and continuing on the path that you're on and trusting him.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. I'm excited.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I had so much fun. I know you did. You always have fun.
I loved it. I had the most fun. And like I said, I love seeing people that are just on fire for the Lord here.
He loves this.
Yeah.
It's what could be more fun?
I know. I love it too.
Thank you.
I want to make a compilation of Dan saying, I love this so much. I'm so excited about this.
I'll start lying.
But we really do love it.
Yes.
And thank you everybody for watching. Tune in next Friday for more winning conversations.